Hey guys, happy Saturday. I'm here with the weekly astrology forecast for the week of Sunday, August 10th to Saturday, August 16th. There's not really an overarching theme this week, but one thing I will say is that Mercury and Mars are pretty active. And I mentioned this last week. Mars has changed signs from Virgo into Libra. And, Mars is by no means its most comfortable or exalted in the sign of Libra, but it's aspecting this week and it's showing us where the window of opportunity is. And I want to kind of share that because Mars is so active, I think that we can kind of take this as a overarching theme this week. And the idea would be, how can we in our personal I am action self, how can we find motivation for balance and for justice and for new possibilities? The caveat is that we're Mars can do this when we can let go of the need to do right. Mars and Libra, if Mars can kind of pump the brakes a little bit or downshift and be curious, kind of in a Gemini fashion about other perspectives, Mars and Libra can really help us right now. Help us help ourselves, help us help each other. So let's kick it off with Sunday, the 10th. We have Mars in Libra trining Pluto in Aquarius. Mars is still loosely trine Uranus. It's still um, sort of in opposition to Saturn and Neptune. But as I'm talking about what's happening in these weekly forecasts, I'm talking about exact moments. So the trining to Pluto is a harmonious aspect, and it's really going to help with this theme that I just mentioned, because if Pluto's guiding us through this dance and this process of transformation for a move away from top-down power to circular power, transformation for the collective, transformation for something that may never have been conceived by us before. Similar vibe to the idea of just kind of letting go of the need to be right. Mars and Libra. So that's how the week starts, which is fantastic. We also have the Sun in Leo, quincunx, the North Node in Pisces. Quincunxes are challenges. They offer some tension, and I think here, we're getting ready for eclipse season. North Node in Pisces is about the wisdom of where we've been and the ability to be a part of something larger than ourselves. Sun in Leo is inviting us to, if we find our truth and we speak it from our heart, to do so confidently, to do so boldly, to do so with the higher orders of the day. So that's kind of part of this soup that we're in this week, this theme. On Monday the 11th, we have Saturn in the sign of Aries, sextiling Uranus in Gemini. And that's really going to help us. Well, it's an activation of sorts for our desire for structure to take a higher octave, to help us embrace the instability that we might be experiencing in the 3D world. Uranus is about shaking things up, right? Uranus is about lightning speed transformation. Saturn and Aries is about our 3D world. And so it's worth noting that also Saturn and Aries is retrograde. So this is the second of three aspects that it's going to be doing with Pluto. So this is kind of we're in the middle when their aspects happen in threes around retrograde season. It's like with the door swings open, we really get to work with the energy in the second time, and then we get to find some closure, hopefully. So the idea of Saturn sextiling Uranus is another flow of energy. And it's a flow of energy that is for our ability to be in this world, but not be of it. We also have Mercury turning direct on Monday, direct in the sign of Leo. So in the mundane world, Mercury retrograde is all about reviewing your communication. So now Mercury's kind of its energy when a planet stations direct, its energy is amplified. On Tuesday, we have Venus in Cancer conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. And this is a really nice, sweet, middle of the week dose of energy. It's it's also, you know, very fortunate, but let's keep some boundaries up too. Let's not go, the caveat here is we might be feeling so needing for some joy vibes that we drink all the punch and we're drunk. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. It's just like, okay, like take it with the wisdom of being present. Enjoy the benefic energy that's going to be with us, especially on Tuesday. But it's really going to help us to take a deep breath and to take a moment to pause and appreciate the things in our lives and in our world that are beautiful, that are working, that are flowing, and to put some focus there. So I would say, instead of trying to like gather up or gobble up on that during that day, kind of just shower some gratitude. It'll be a really good time midweek to do a gratitude practice. We also have Luna moving into Aries on that very same day. On the 13th, we have Venus in Cancer, now semi-square Uranus in Gemini. And a semi-square is a minor aspect, but in my understanding, the minor aspects, just like the outer planets, they're no less powerful. If anything, they're subtle energy, and they're maybe even a little bit more powerful. So that's going to be some friction. That's going to give us some motivation for justice and balance and harmony for the collective. And, also going to help us maybe get a sense of some new possibilities that are out there. And then on Thursday, we have Mercury sextiling Mars. As I was mentioning, Mars was active on Sunday. This is the first of two sextiles that are happening. The next one happens next week because it's the exact same thing, just a couple more degrees along in each of their respective signs. So Mercury's in Leo, Mars is in Libra. And this is the idea that we could use our communication, use our vibrational and verbal communication for diplomacy, for balance and harmony, for justice. Caveat that it's about more than just simply the thing that we already think is right. The truth that we already really believe is just that's what's true. This is about this. This really only flows when Mars really only flows in Libra when it can let go of the reins just a little bit to be like, oh, maybe I should look around and see what the other passengers in the car have to say. Where do they want to go? So that's actually it's a potentially very fortunate aspect. But we're, like I said, like part of the theme of this week is like releasing the reins just a little bit, and releasing the need to be right, in the sense that we've already come to all the conclusions and we already know what the score is. And we've always known what the score is. We're not living in those times where we already have everything figured out. We're living in fast times and in unsettled times, but exciting times, because we're going through generational change. We can't put a finger, we don't know this energy. So remember that. On Thursday, we have Mars still. Oh wait, no. There's that is Thursday. Sorry. On Friday, this is the last aspect we have. Saturday's pretty quiet. So on Friday, we have Uranus in Gemini quintile the North Node. And the North Node is also going to be trining Venus. So this is a time of creativity. This is a time of new downloads. This is a time of being open to receiving things from people and places and in ways that we may not have seen before. So the metaphor here, I think, this week is almost like instead of sitting at home alone, writing in our journal about how we're right, get out and go to the park, go to a cafe, go listen to some music, go talk to some people, go figure out if there's a new way to do or be or vibrate something. And with that, I will just close and say, we're still on the heels throughout this week. We just had the Lionsgate a couple days ago. Just yesterday, I'm recording this on Saturday. Friday, we had the full moon, and we have what's called a mystic triangle that's still loosely operational through most of this week. So those themes, those full moon themes that I mentioned in the podcast, I'll link it if I can remember to do that. Those themes are still with us, and in fact they're with us throughout this week. So let's embrace these the potential for infinite possibility. And really, I think the message that's coming through is the quickest and the most potent way for us to get to that infinite possibility is to let our ego be what it is, which is we are physical beings in this world and our consciousness matters, but release the need to be right. Release the need to already have it all figured out. All right. Bright blessings, tons of love, and I will see you next week.